sick about an hour ago when I thought I owed it to everybody here to tell you this in person. Fellow contestants, judges, especially everyone in the audience, I have not had time to prepare a speech for this contest. You see, what happened was, last Saturday morning, I woke up early, took a sailboat out to Long Beach Harbor. With the thick marine layer, the dense fog, the gentle morning breeze, it was the perfect environment to invent a tall tale for this contest. I even dropped a fishing line off the back of the boat, and about an hour later, a little 12-inch sea bass was flopping around, and I'm thinking, I caught some breakfast, this is a great day. I began pulling that fish in, and as I'm doing so, this giant, 30-foot, orange, whale-looking sea monster pops his head above the water. And I stood there stunned, staring at this creature. It looked back at me intently, had a funny smirk on the side of his mouth. Then it ate my fish, went underwater, and took off. Now my fishing line is connected to that first fish. It was immediately snapped from my fingers. The boat flew out from under me. I fell backwards, cracked my head on the floor of that boat, and I laid there unconscious. I woke to the sound of waves crashing on the shore. My boat had drifted up to the beach. I sat up in agonizing pain. The back of my head hurt so bad from that fall. The side of my face, my arms, my legs were as red as a lobster from the sun. My throat was so dry, I could barely whisper noise. I rolled out of the boat, looked to the sea, and saw my fishing line floating in the water. That monster had gotten away. I looked around and didn't recognize where I was, but I saw a store off the distance, so I trudged through the sand of the beach and approached that store, and I noticed it's called Island Treasures. As I entered, I'm thinking, Island Treasures, that's weird. I must be in Catalina. I got a bottle of water out of the refrigerator. I noticed my shirt was a little ripped up from that journey. So I grabbed the shirt off the shelf, I placed my items on the counter, and I go to pay the clerk, and I'm thinking, right, I left my wallet and my cell phone in the car. But I brought a couple of merchants' dollars with me. Paid the clerk, grabbed my stuff, and left. On my way out of that store, I noticed on the corner of my eye a newspaper that read the Honolulu Times. I didn't think much. I kind of giggled to myself for a minute. And I walked back in, and I picked up that newspaper. My curiosity had gotten the best of me. And I'm reading the newspaper, and it reads October 4th. And I could barely wrap my head around this one. I went sailing on September 29th. And then it hit me. The newspaper hit the floor, and my stomach followed. That monster had told me all the way to Hawaii. I have no wallet, no cell phone. I spent all my money on a novelty shirt. How am I going to get home? I walked the streets, confronting my newfound problem, when I came upon a group of tourists entering a cruise ship. Now, I must have saw this on TV or something, because I just naturally cut in line, pretending like I was one of them. I got as far as the ticket guy, who immediately denied me, shooed me away, threatened to call the police. And a little bit discouraged, I took the docks and I wandered around there, not really knowing what to do. I watched that ship push off the dock, and without even thinking about it, I sprinted down that dock, I dove in the water, I swam with all my might, I grabbed a hold of that ship, and I scaled the side of it. I dug my white knuckles into a window, and I hung there for 2 days until that ship made it back to Long Beach. Fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. That ship docked in Long Beach an hour ago, and I rushed here as quickly as I could. As you can see, I'm still wearing a shirt I bought from that store. I haven't been able to shave in a week. I don't have a speech prepared for today's contest, but I do want to warn you that there is a monster in the Long Beach Harbor, and it does not like competing for its fish. Madam Toastmaster.